All right, everybody. Welcome once again to the Cash Flow Empire every Tuesday night where we like to go live and just talk about real estate. We've had so many people on this. John, how many people we've had? Like how many episodes do we have? More than 90, right?
Yeah, we got like more than 90 episodes. So some were private, some were like open. So I think at this point we're almost close to 100
We're
episodes.
almost close to 100 episodes. And guys, I mean, we started doing this just because we wanted to expose a lot of the great experience that's going on out there on multifamily, on just real estate in general. So we've had a lot of operators come on, a lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of partners, just talking about different things in real estate, single family homes, wholesaling, fix and flips. We had some insurance guys, we had some brokers. I mean, you name it, literally every type of real estate you can talk about. And tonight, I think it's very, very special because um, most of you guys know us as a multifamily group. We're buying apartments all over the country, right? We're mainly attacking, the Dallas Fort Worth area, the Dallas, Texas area where we're actually from, right? So tonight we actually have the core group here, the Model Investor Alliance group, which happens to be myself, Jonathan, Janice, Sean, Casa Rice House, Dr. Tim. And tonight, we're going to discuss the importance of just teamwork, the importance of scaling partnerships, and how we're able to do this together, how we're able to attack and just take down this real estate that's just everybody's just trying to do, right? It's something that's just so shiny. I remember when I got into this game, I would have never thought that I was going to buy apartments. I was like, man, how the heck can I own apartments? For one, I thought that I had to have the $1 million in cash to go buy it myself. The other thing that I thought that I could do is do it myself. I was very selfish. I'm like, I'm gonna go take it down. I'm gonna own those apartments one day. Little did I know, I didn't understand the model and how is it that we're able to buy them and how fast we can actually do it as a team. So that being said, once again, guys, my name is Sergio Aguilar. I'm one of the members, and then I'm gonna let John and the rest of the team introduce themselves.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys. So you guys already know a lot about our story, but yeah, like a lot of you, we are we're doing in this case we're doing a real estate full time, right? So we start doing fix and flips, wholesaling, and a year and a half ago, myself, full-time real estate investor, Sergio, around like a month, right? Finally went in, all in real estate, and Sean and Jana, these guys are amazing. So we came together, right? So I'll let you go, Jana, and introduce yourself. So you want to tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit about your business, and how is that you got involved with the multifamily investing?
Absolutely. Well, hello everyone. Good to see you guys and thank y'all for showing up and not only being a learner but actually taking action. And I think that's what it was all about, Jonathan. We came from the real estate industry, from design, home staging. I'm also a realtor, and I stumbled into a multifamily conference because one of my mentors, Grant Cardone, was speaking, and that was a little over 3 years ago. And I had to hear this about 3 or 4 times to really pick it up because I could not unhear what I heard. I'm like, is this really how multiplication works in real estate? Because we had been doing addition, right? And so it was in rooms like that I also met you guys, met Sean. We said, hey, let's get together and learn together. We're all learners. So we started kind of an unofficial meetup, and Grant started throwing his real estate summits. We were all there and jumped in, and then we just started like the synergy. We were all kind of 10x mindset. We were not only learners but doers, and we all brought our specialized knowledge together, and it was just magic. And I also came from the business coaching industry, and we had done that for the staging and design industry for 10 years. And I said, let's take the best of the best. Let's get people also trained up on where some of these programs don't quite give you all of the data. We learn how to pitch deals, find deals, but how do you manage these? How do you actually get the legal involved? All of the things that we have to do to buy these businesses. So we all collaborated, started MIA, and the rest is history. We just closed our 7th deal, I'm gonna let Sean tell you all the good news for today. But this happened so fast, but only because we decided to partner together and leaning on each other's skill sets. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I mean, guys, look, like I have a construction background, and I think part of this, I won't go through what Janet just said, but every bit of that applies. And part of this is finding somebody that can help you bring these deals down. So, and what I mean by that is, I come from the construction background. I bring management to the table. In that construction, I ran my own company for many years. So I was in financials. I was digging into P&Ls and balance sheets because, I mean, let's face it, we talk about this all the time. We're buying real estate, yes, but we're really buying businesses. We're buying existing businesses that we want to, number one, cash flow, right? And number two, we want to improve the value over the life cycle of the project. So that's where we go in, we force the appreciation, or we add value so that in 5 or 10 or 15 years, we can cycle out of those and get that return that we're looking for, that we try to get, why we're doing that. We're getting a drip every month, right? We're getting flow every year over year, while we're waiting for that valuation to increase at the time of exit. So yeah, I mean, I come from a construction background. That's kind of what I bring to the table. But, just to add on to what Janet has said, I think it's super important. We're all here for a reason. We're all here to better our lives, better our families' lives, hopefully create that generational wealth path, not only for ourselves, but for our kids. And that's one of the reasons I stepped down from my, I guess, W-2 job, if you will, is because I wanted to spend more time with my family. I was able to buy my time back. I ended up retiring last year, January of last year, and going into multifamily investing full time. So that's the goal. The goal is to create generational wealth. And to be able to do that, we've all invested our time and our money into some sort of mentorship program, right? Number one thing is to invest and educate yourself. And then to be able to do that in a shortened amount of time, and to be able to collapse that time, we've all invested, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into mentorship programs across many platforms. It's not just one. So, all of us are involved with Grant Cardone 10X. Some of us are involved with Sunrock. Some of us are involved with Rod Cleef Warrior Program, if you know what that is. And some of us are involved with Raise Masters. So, and I think there's one or two we're actually involved with. So we get to bring all that knowledge, and we're able to spread that knowledge through calls like this, and mentorship programs and coaching programs. So that's a little bit about kind of what we do. We all met 3 years ago through Grant Cardone. We're all 10Xers. That's where we all first met. And we love that program. By the way, we were talking to a gentleman, in fact, I think he's on the call here tonight, that Grant Cardone is an awesome baseline and a foundation to start that next level thinking, kind of what Sergio was alluding to, Jonathan and Sergio were alluding to earlier. You got to understand that, while single family is great and can provide that rich, right? If you want to get rich quick, you can start flipping houses and you can make good money, but it starts somewhere. But in order to build generational wealth, that takes time. And when we do that, we're able to go into the multifamily and produce that kind of wealth generation building concept. So yeah, that's my pitch, man, guys.
Love it, love it. No, thank you, Sean. And I still remember, the first time when I signed the big check for a mentorship program, right? So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my hand was shaking, right? So I even didn't call my fiance. I called her after I paid, right? But she always support me, and she always was like in the same, like, she was on board with the decision. She always believed, because she saw I would say, the little success that I have at the beginning, that for us was big at the moment, right? Because we were not around the 10X and all those things, right? But But yeah, I still remember, and even at that event, I just want to tell you a quick story, guys. So we kind of knew Jana and team for a little bit of time, and then we record a video. We record a video, you know, and we send it to a WhatsApp group with over, you know, 300 people or something, just saying that, hey guys, we in the next 6 months we're going to acquire, you know, over 500 units as a GP, right? So, and we just claim that, you know, because we believe a lot about, you know, so you just say that and then you express it to the universe, and it's going to bring it back to you, right? So that's what we did. We're committed. And then as you see, 2.5 years later, so we're here in partnership in and building this big MIA group, right? So, but this is gonna be a quick question for Jana, because you know the whole purpose of the call is, you know, again, multifamily is a team sport, right? And you need different pieces in order to grow and scale in this business. But do you wanna tell us a little bit about your first deal? Because you didn't have a big team involved in that, right? But you were still closing. So do you think that you can tell us a little bit
Oh
about
yeah,
that, you know, challenges and all the above?
I'll give you guys a highlight because I think we all have these limited beliefs that we cannot go take down a 200 complex, you know, unit complex or 100, whatever the number is that scares us. And so we defaulted into a 14 unit, and it is in my hometown of Paris, Texas. And we did not know what we were doing. We had done the fix and flips and some short-term rental. And so we ended up buying 5.5 acres with, you know, 3 duplexes and 2 quads and 14 doors. We JV'd the deal with some of our friends, and, you know, 1.395. We overpaid for it because we did not know how to calculate, you know, the worth and the value of it. And that was almost, you know, I think it was worth 985 when we paid 1.38385. See, again, here we are talking numbers. This is a numbers game, and we cannot be afraid to talk numbers because that's how we learn, right? And so now we are still holding on to that asset. It's doing fine. We'll get a double on it when we decide to sell. But let me tell you, we've been the managers from 2 hours away. It's been terrible, right? We've got a realtor trying to lease up all the time. There's always challenges. So all of this to say, back to Grant Cardone, go big or go bigger. We should not be thinking small, and let our lesson be your lesson, that you don't have to go through that. You guys can skip, just like Sergio, right? He's like, I didn't have to start at fix and flip. I just skipped all the way to multifamily. And that's exactly what all of us can do just by listening to the lessons. And you can actually, 100 units is easier than 14 units. And Sean can testify to that. You guys can testify, like, because it can afford its own management. And I think that, Jonathan, were some of the lessons, hard lessons learned. It's been very painful. We would not have done it, but if we had to do it so you could learn from us, you're welcome.
Yeah, and one thing you said, I want to touch on another topic because you mentioned something. We're managing it from 2 hours away, and it's horrible, guys. We literally and I mean, we got about 3 or 4 deals here in Dallas, right, where we're easy accessible to. We're within about 25 minutes to 20 minutes from our assets at the moment. And one of my favorite things is that although it's about combined, it's about 300 units or so, we are able to manage it, and we're able to kind of, you know, leverage off of each other's presence and teamwork on asset management, on property management, and we help each other a lot. Like, imagine if I had to be at the property every single time there was a fire that we had, not a literal fire, God forbid, but like an issue that, you know, that happens. Maybe I can't drop what I'm doing at the moment, but maybe my other partner who's down the street can. And that's happened a lot. And it's vice versa. We've gotten calls where, like, hey, look, you know, the boiler stopped working. Like, you know, I'm like, well, shoot, hey, don't worry, I'm down the street. I'm on my way right now, and as an asset manager, right? And then, and vice versa, you know, maybe something happens. I'm like, hey, I can't make it. no worries, Sergio, I'm down the street. I'll get there and I'll let you know what's going on. Right. And it's a really, really big team sport. So Jana, I absolutely love that you said that because I don't think a lot of people understand the responsibility that does come behind, you know, owning a 14 unit, owning an 18 unit, because everybody always says, I want to start small. I even said it at one point. That's how I started in this game. I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, like many of us, and we were like, oh my God, let's get some duplexes. Let's get some quads. We'll start small. Rich Dad Poor Dad said it. Mr. Robert Kiyosaki said it. Let me do that. And we don't understand how tough it is to be property managers. And I'm going to say this right now. You know, being involved in our property management company, sitting there and listening to all the fires that are being put out, all the phone calls that they're getting, all the stuff, all the BS that they go through, that I'm like, holy crap, I'm so glad I'm not getting those calls. Because if it was me, I wouldn't be able to handle it. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I always tip my hat to our girls. I said, man, girls, like y'all got it. I love y'all. You know, I don't know how y'all do it, but I love it for y'all. And this is something that they take pride in, right? The girls that are at the office that are property managing our properties, they absolutely love this. This is what they have a passion for, is helping out communities, right? So I kind of went on a little spiel there on how tough it is, you know, to be the property manager. And Jana, like, tell us some of the experiences you're having, you know, for your asset in Paris.
Well, it's people that number one, maintenance issues, right? And then it can be that they skip, or that they've damaged the property went on move out. It's There's just all kind. We could give a laundry list, and you're right. When you're not, that's why, our goal is every market we go in, that we have someone boots on the ground that knows the market, knows what areas and what side of the streets we want to be on. And also they are able to, if there's an emergency. So the reality of us having an emergency, now the good news is our other partners are closer than we are. So a lot of it falls on their shoulders, but you really have to collaborate, because there are challenges that can for sure happen with freezes and all of the things. I mean, it's constant, even 14 doors. So, and it's a 2019 property. It's not like it's an old asset that we bought. That just compounds sometimes. So, it's just a lot of lessons, and I hope no one has to go through what we've been through. And you guys can just go do bigger deals with us, with the people you trust, whatever that looks like. Just don't be afraid, and find your people and go do big things.
Love it, love it, love it. So I would like to hear Sean's opinion, about your first deal. How was that team, in your first deal? See, that worked out for you, because a lot of people, they were like, okay, I want to build my team, but sometimes even we can speak of ourselves. We start with a different team, and then we just start kind of like moving forward, right? So go ahead, Sean, and let you speak about your first deal, your experience and all the challenges that you have with that one.
Yeah, look, it's the same story, unfortunately. I wish I had better news, but I was in the position where I wasn't comfortable. I didn't know how to do a 100-unit deal. My first deal was an 18 unit in Old East Dallas, and same challenges. Like the stuff that can go wrong, you personally deal with, and you do that because the property is not big enough to support an on-site property manager. So unfortunately, you can pay a property manager to manage that asset. The problem is it's not being watched like it should be, like it needs to be watched. With multiple tenants on site, there's things that can go wrong all the time, as Janet had mentioned. And so when they're not on site, you're having to make that decision, on a daily basis. And so it's very cumbersome, and you end up, we joke about this all the time, guys. We bought another job, and that's not why we're in this business. But because we didn't have, the experience, we didn't, may or may not have partnered with an experienced team. We should have partnered with a more experienced team. so that we would have avoided some of those pitfalls into going into something too small. And I think that's part of understanding, hey, you know, a mentorship where a mentor comes in and can help you avoid some of those pitfalls that we've learned. But you can learn that by partnering, you know, with us or you know, having a one-on-one with us or whatever the case may be. But we were able to collapse that time and bring that experience forward so that you don't have to do that. But yeah, like, and you also got to vet your partners too, right? We were, I was in the position where I was, you know, I could jump in right away. I took action. Didn't care. I just wanted in a deal, and probably should have taken some time to understand the dynamics and what everybody brought to the table. You know, we talk about this all the time now, but it's because of these kind of lessons learned. We want to join forces with somebody that can backfill our weaknesses, right? So if we have a weakness, we want to make sure that the next partner or your partner or two partners or multiple partners come in, they can bring in what you don't necessarily may have the experience on. So I think that was one of the deals. I'm glad I did the deal because it got me started, right? I don't regret not doing the deal. In fact, I'm still in the deal, but it at least got me started and propelled on the way. But would I do it again? Absolutely not.
And I think, you know, even going to these multifamily events, that's the first thing I heard. You know, Grant Cardone, like, don't, you know, don't buy nothing small. You shouldn't be nothing buying anything. You shouldn't be buying anything less than 30 units, 33 units. There's a rule of thumb, right? Where a property supports enough cash flow to be able to, you know, to be able to have your property management because like Sean just said, it generates enough cash to be able to hire a full-time property manager, right? But even then, when I was hearing Grant Cardone say all this, and I'm hearing all these other people, you know, I kind of wanted to get hard headed at times. I was like, you know what? I really just don't care. You know, I need something. I want a little, you know, a little 12 unit, a little 13 unit because why not? You know, why not? Well, what's the worst that can happen? And then I always remind myself, I'm like, you know what? Janice, Sean, like they're going through some things. You know, I'm not saying, and they're not saying it's a horrible investment, you know, because obviously it's real estate, right? You know, it's there's some upside to this. There's some forced appreciation, right? But it's just buying a job is something that we don't want. We're in this game to get financially free. We're in this game to buy our time back. We're in this game to create generational wealth, right? So I always have to remind myself on, you know, not being stubborn and saying, you know what, it's okay. Let's go get something a little bigger that, you know, we're able to go take down together and just have some fun because guys, you don't understand. I have a blast doing this. Like y'all don't understand how fun it is just to be able to sit here with Jonathan, sit here with Sean and Jana, Dr. Tim, Kasia, and just everybody and just talk about what do we got to do? How are we going to get there? You know, well, look, you know, just collaborating as a team. I think it's something that I enjoy the most, especially with some amazing people because, you know, we all have one goal. We all have our chemistry is so well. We can talk about the stuff that, you know, maybe other teams were going to butt heads, but for some odd reason, you know, we all can get together, sit here and collaborate and talk about the things that are a little harder to talk about and still be on good terms and be like, okay, well, you know, we think we should do this. We're like, you know what? Sure, let's go. You know, let's go, you know, whatever, you know. Let's agree. Let's do it, right? And I think that's what makes this so fun is just to be able to come in, think bigger, do bigger, take these deals down with just with some amazing people. So great point, Sean. I love that you said that just because for anybody on this call that wants to sit here and just says, you know what, I want a six-plex, 12-plex, maybe something small. Let's start small. Guys, learn from, and I'm not going to say us because I'm not on those deals, but learn from our partners here. You know, just it's probably not a good idea unless you want another job and you want to learn how to be a property manager. By all means, you want to get a call at midnight saying that the toilet's broke and there's a flood or something. Be my guest, but yeah, that's what I got to say about that.
No, that was
Yeah, I think it's, you know, to go along with that, you know, what we've learned from our baseline and our foundation is you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? we originally were comfortable going in. Janet was comfortable going into a 14. I was comfortable. I don't know how comfortable, maybe, but I was more comfortable going into an 18 unit than I was taking down 133 doors, so it's about stretching yourself. You got to consistently and constantly keep pushing yourself to the next level. And if I had it all over again, I would start with a 100-unit complex. But I think it's important to understand you got to keep pushing yourself and keep stretching yourself.
Speaking of 100 units and I much rather take down these bigger assets. Let's talk about really quick what's required to take these down. What's required to take these bigger assets down, guys? Because I know we've all been in different types of partnerships, but let's elaborate a little more for the people that are on this call tonight, right? They're like, you know what, guys, I'm inspired. I want to go and take a 100 unit. Let's take a 60 or 80 unit down. But how am I going to get there? And I think we all agreed that on this call for like the fifth time we're saying this, it's teamwork. It's having that chemistry with people that are able to make this happen, because at the end of the day, I mean, these are multi-million-dollar assets that we're taking down. And that's something I remember at the time, I'm like, holy crap, John, how are we going to go freaking buy a $13 million apartment complex? I don't have $13 million. I don't even have $1 million, in my bank account yet, John. Like, how are we going to do this? I think a lot of people just get it kind of twisted where they get a little, discouraged, because I know that happened to me. I'm like, dude, John, where the hell are we going to get the 13 mil?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to leverage off the bank. Like, where are we even going to leverage? Like, how are we going to apply for a loan? How are we going to get that LTV? Let alone raise the rest of the capital to get this deal done, right? I mean, it takes a solid team to do that. And Jan, if you want to go ahead and explain the basics, and then I'll let Sean jump in and just give us his thought on it.
Well, for those of you in the room that come from residential, we love to say this is still math. Maybe we've been doing algebra with residential, and now it's geometry in multifamily. So the way that you literally take down one door, it's different. And we're buying a business. That's the difference. Like, we're buying an income producing asset, hopefully. And so now we're looking at the financials of any business. If you bought a bakery or whatever, you'd say, okay, I need to know the financials. So we are looking, and we need somebody that can analyze numbers. We need somebody that can put a value on this asset. We also need to know how this game works. Business is sport, and sport is business. We are playing a sport. And so we've got to know who controls these properties, these businesses, and that is the broker, right? The broker relationship, and they're different. You're not going to find these with KW. So most of you guys that have been studying, that there's a few people that hold the keys to the kingdom, and those are your brokers. So back to what we need relationship. We need partnership. I can't go in by myself. Sean can't go in by himself and say, hey, we're going to take down this 100-unit property. They want to know that you have an organization of people that want to buy this business. Are you guys getting that? I'll say it again. They want to know that you have an organization of people to go buy this business. They want to know that you can close it. You can raise your 13 million. We're about to raise 15.5 all cash on an asset. They want to know that you have confidence in your network and your investor group in the organization to go take this down. So I would say you need people, you need in partners, because we've got to now prove that we have the money in the bank. We've got to be illiquid at some point. If that's not you got to find someone in the organization that's going to be able to prove that. We've got to have net worth. We got to have, this is why it's a team sport. And then they want to see that you have a little bit of the, you've either full cycled a deal. How many deals are you guys in? A personal financial statement. We've got to have schedule of real estate owned. So some of these things you're like, don't let it overwhelm you. Whenever you guys work with Jonathan, Sergio, myself, Sean, our attaboys on the wall, what we've accomplished gets to be put into your circle as our new partners. So That's what I love about this sport. It's a team sport. And if we've won 4 Super Bowls, the rookie that comes on the field, he's won 4 Super Bowls too, because he's now part of that team. So going from single family mindset, one at a time, door, you can do it yourself, DIY. It's like this is a new game with now what geometry. It's like team sport, confidence. We're going in and buying a business, and we do that together. So you guys can add to that, but it's a little bit of a mind shift for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that I can add to that, but here's what I'll tell you. It's a lot easier with the team, right? As it is, with one or even two people. So it's great that you can bring all this together. And by the way, Jonathan or Sergio, y'all had said it earlier, you met somebody that has maybe a high net worth and high liquidity, but guess what? They're not going to be able to take that deal down themselves. The broker doesn't know them, doesn't have the assurance it closed, which by the way is number one on getting a deal awarded to you, that you've closed before. We have a track record that we've closed, and we just closed our 4th deal with the same brokerage firm, and we weren't even the highest bidder. You know why? Because we've closed 3 deals with this guy before, with this same firm before. So we ended up picking up the deal, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 below the next guy, just because we've closed deals with him before. So back to the relationships, right? You need the financials. You need to have somebody that understands the financials, because we're buying a business. We need to understand, where the expenses are and what we can do to save expenses and what we can do to generate more income. So that all affects the bottom line, which in turn increases the value of the property. But the beautiful thing about this sport is that even though, and guys, there's problems, right? There's always going to be problems. There's problems on every deal. But what's awesome is you can come to your team and go, look, we have an issue. How do we want to handle it? We'll throw out some suggestions, but there's never any, what'd you do? Why'd you do that? Well, how come why? But why? No, it's all about finding solutions and result driven. That's where that mindset comes in that we were talking about earlier. It comes back to that foundation of having that open mindset and the willingness to find a path forward to, whatever that problem is that solution is going to be. And by the way, there could be 100 paths. You may not all agree on the same path, but there's going to be support in whatever path is chosen from having that team put in place and there together.
I think one of my favorite things that Janet just said was, if we have 4 Super Bowls, the rookie has 4 Super Bowls too. So I want you guys to understand this. For those of y'all that are on the call tonight, for those of y'all that are going to watch this in the future, that's obviously going to be posted live, because this is recorded, guys. You are going to be able to come watch this again. Is that understand that although you're new to this industry, leveraging off of our success or leveraging off of people's financial statements, leveraging off of people's experience, that is how you make it in this game. You do not need to be a freaking multimillionaire to get in, because there's this thing called leverage. As long as you bring something to the table as far as experience or a superpower, which we're going to get into next, because that's actually one of the questions, in the chats, and that's a phenomenal question. You're able to come play and be on the team, be on the roster, and be able to make this a reality of buying multifamily assets, guys. And one of my biggest things when I got in this industry, I was telling John, I'm like, John, I need to learn this game. I want to learn this game really, really bad. I want to know about everything. I want to know about financials. I want to know about the property management. I want to know how to run a property. I know I got a gist of construction, right? I know how to buy out projects, but I really, really want to know how to turn these properties around and go through a full cycle, how to get out of, go through the ups and downs in this, because that's what makes an operator a true operator in my eyes. And I'm blessed that I'm able to sit there with my partners every week, have property management, meetings with our property management company, asset management meetings. And like Sean says, it's not like well, why did this happen? It's, hey, how are we going to fix this as a team? This is obviously going on. This is a problem that we're having. but how are we going to come together as a team to fix this? Or what do we got to do to turn this thing around and do a 180? And you know, to just truck along to where we're going to get in the clear, you know, because we've had some storms, guys. We've had some minor storms that we had to get through. You know, we had vacancies on our properties. We're like, holy shit, you know, we're not looking too good. But what are we going to do to get vacancies? How are we going to get people in these doors and reliable tenants, residents, right? So these are things that we talk about on a daily. Is not why this is how are we going to do something about it. What are the solutions that we're going to do to get there, right? So it's something super, super cool. I figured I'd highlight that really quick because a lot of people get scared. They think this is impossible, but it's really, really not. You know, just all you got to do is once you're on the roster, guys, you're on the roster. It don't matter if you just got drafted. If you're playing with Tom Brady, the 4-time Super Bowl ring, and then you won the 5th one on that team, just being a year in the league, hey, by all means, that's what it is, right? So, Jana, just phenomenal metaphors. I love your analogies that you use. I just love it.
Well, my boys played sports, football. And so I know that I don't know hockey well enough to know all the positions, right? But or soccer, Jonathan, like it's just but business is sport. We need to win. We need to know who you know, when we're behind and what plays to make. We've got coaches, we have teammates. And so if you guys can start transitioning to that, it's a really cool, especially if you love sports. We should have fun with this. We should know when, you know, we need to get the information. We need to debrief. You know, we have meetings. All of those things are part of this. And I don't know about you guys, and I'll just be open and candid. Whatever business you're in, whether you're an employee or business owner, we struggle. We've had our staging and design business for 22 years. For the last probably 6 years, we've hit 7 figures every year, right over $1 million. We hustle. We have trucks on the road. We have a 10,000 square foot warehouse of furniture. People get hurt. People get injured. Our insurance, we're in and out of homes. We struggle so much to make probably a 30% profit margin. Now you compare that to these multifamily assets. Where else can you buy a business together and get a double within 10 years? We bought at 15. Our goal is to get a double, $30 million, an extra 15 million in 10 years. My personal goal is to get it in 5 to 7. And we're in an asset where we're going to get that probably in 3.5 years on one of our assets. It's not that we're selling it, but you can value these assets in the little amount of work. We all said here, there's work, there's problems. But most of this, we're the executives around the table making the decision. We're not necessarily the boots on the ground. That's our management companies. There is no way that when I learned we can control the value of the asset, and just as a business, like I can't get these type of returns in a business that we started, that we struggle with every single year. I would totally walk away from that business. Don't tell everybody. It goes straight into multifamily, but right now that business runs without me, and it employs, 15 people. And so this is now the business that they run. And by the way, it's also helping our multifamily properties. So it's a little bit of a parallel business, which is nice whenever that can happen. If you have a roofing company or construction or whatever, but I'm telling you, there's nothing like multifamily, being able to multiply your money.
Yeah, no, and I love that too, because, I mean, real estate is a good industry. You can make money in a different paths, right? So multifamily, I love that, right? You just say that, Yana. But something I also love about multifamily is that we're able to also impact people, impact communities, right? So we're able to impact even investors, right? So people that, they're busy professionals, they have money, they have savings, they have maybe 401k and different accounts where they can use that money. And then there are some advantages in multifamily, right? So tax depreciation and some benefits like people can use, and they don't know that, right? So we're able to impact even investors or communities and things like that. And then I let Sean explain a little bit about this, because we're in this game to make money is great, but you don't feel great every time that you see a tenant where just come to say thank you guys because you are actually caring about the property and the community?
What's the question, John?
No. I mean, like, how are you feeling, man? And I'm just saying, like, if you don't feel like great, man, every time a tenant or a community just come to say, like, hey, thank
Oh
you.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, sorry. Anyway, so what was cool was the investor impact day that we did. I mean, like, how rewarding was that? So when we closed our Arlington deal a few weeks ago, we came up with I'll say we. I'm gonna take some credit for that, Jana. Jana came up with it, but we had an investor impact day a couple weeks after, or a week after we closed. And we had all of our investors, the LPs, GPs, everything alike. And we came out, we cleaned up the property, we planted some plants, we cleaned out some units, talked to a lot of tenants. And I tell you what, that was awesomely rewarding. I don't think that's a word, but if it is now. So, it was really, really cool to be able to go talk to tenants and go, hey, look, I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm happy to see new management. We've had some issues. We've had some people that have lived here for 15, 20 years move out a few months ago because nothing's getting done. The maintenance isn't getting done. Leaks are happening. So, it was like a breath of fresh air to, tenants that have been there for, some of those tenants were there for, I know one's like 17, 18 years, and the other one was like almost 25 years. And it was nice to talk to them and say, hey, look, here's where our problem, they were telling us where their problems were. And we were able to go in and okay, no problem. We'll get our team together and kind of start formulating a plan. And it was just like, you just see it in their face. Like, it went from white to having flush again. Like, it was just like the blood flowed back in their face. So, it's things like that is super rewarding to be able to not only give back to the community as we acquire these assets and come in, and we're able to see a difference almost like immediately. And that's not even injecting $1 million of capex that we have pre-planned. That's just us being personal on site, showing that we care about the asset, right? And the last owner didn't care about the asset, obviously, and it showed. But no, that's one of the coolest things, and I can't wait to look forward. We're actually going to go back and do investor impact days on our previous assets that when we didn't even know any better, when we didn't come up with the ideas. So I can't wait for those days to happen, and I know there's people on this call that are investors with us. That will be looking forward to that as well. So yeah.
Nice. And some of the things that we do take pride in, guys, is that we're so active. And that's something I take a lot of pride in. I brag about that crap all the time. Like, man, we're so involved. We're like literally in the mud. Just this is what we do as a team and as owners. Is we're in the trenches with our people. We love to get down and dirty. We love to go to our community. I personally love. I mean, a lot, we are in Texas. We are in Dallas. A lot of the communities are land populated, and I speak Spanish. I talk to them in Spanish, and I let them know, and I assure them that, hey, look, listen, there's new sheriffs in towns, and we're going to take care of you. That is our goal. We are going to make a change, and we're going to make a difference in this place that you call home, and in this place that you've been living here for 20 plus years, for 15 plus years, right? And before I go on to the questions, because I want to respect everybody's time. One of my highlights is that I kept a resident from leaving, a resident that's been there for 10 years, a resident that I just so happened to be there translating because we're coming in with a new manager that didn't speak Spanish, right? I had to translate, and they told me, hey, can you ask him if he's leaving or he's staying? If, his lease is coming due. And I told him, I'm like, hey, sir, are you going to stay? Are you going to renew with us? He said, well, I wasn't planning on it. And I was like, well, why is that? He's like, well, management has been shit for these last 2, 3 years, and I don't like it, and I'm going to leave. I said, huh? I was like, well, look. And at this point, I took matters into my own hand. I said, look, listen, sir. I said, we're under new management. We're under new ownership. And one thing that I can guarantee you is that we're here. We care about our people. We care about our communities. And we're here to make a difference. I can promise you that. I can guarantee you that you are going to see some changes in this community and in this complex. He's like, well, if that's the case, he said, I'm going to renew my lease. I said, perfect. I said, you have any problems, you please let me, you see me around here because you will see me around. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me and to let me know if you need anything. And I shook his hand and everything was great. So it's just things like that, interactions like that is something that we just take pride on, and obviously the team is always there, Sean, Jana, I mean, we pop up occasionally. I am a part of the CapEx team, so I'm there a lot more, and just I'm on site, right? So this is just phenomenal. This is what we love to do. So we're almost getting to the top of the hour. We obviously want to respect everybody's time. I do want to take the remainder of the time to ask some questions. And I think one of the first ones is, how did you find what your superpower is in the deal? I'm gonna go really, really quick. Mine, guys, I didn't even get to tell you guys at the beginning, but one of my superpowers is my construction experience. I swore up and down that I was gonna, live and die in construction, and granted, I am, because now that I'm doing real estate full time, because I quit my job about a week ago. I'm still doing construction, and I'm applying my experience and my contacts and my skills into the multifamily. So that's how I found my superpower. And that's what the value that I brought to my team, right? Sean's obviously got, experience running his business, his construction business, but now it doesn't require Sean to be there all the time. Maybe he's like, hey, Serge, listen, you're going to be in charge of this aspect of things. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Now that takes pressure off of Sean for him to go find more deals or to go do other things that can better our business, right? So that's the value that I was able to bring and the superpower that I was able to bring to the team. John, if you want to go.
Yeah, no, I mean, superpower and something that I help the team with is it's exactly, I love spreadsheets, right? So I have an engineer background. So that's something I look at. And then, we go and sit down and compare underwritings, with the whole team, with Sean, with Jana, just to gather our points of view. And I really love to talk to investors, right? Investors, because they have questions about, okay, explain me projection, explain me this, how do you calculate returns, how conservative you are in the numbers, right? So I love to sit down with them and then just explain them the whole situation, why we are using this strategy and that. So I really love, bring investors in, help them to, get into a deal and show them why, like they are missing if they are not in there, right? So I'll let you, Jana and Sean, whoever wanna go first, but yeah, I'll let you guys go and share with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, like the superpower, here's what's cool. So we all kind of figured out our superpower as we kind of gelled a little bit. And by the way, guys, we didn't jump into a deal together, which I think made this relationship and this team so much more special. We took the time to get to know each other, and oh yeah, you can bring that, I can bring this, and we kind of vetted that process out a little bit. I bring a few things to the table, but what's important is if you guys are thinking about doing or being a GP, we will help you find that superpower. So even though you may not know what it is right now, that is what's so cool about what we do and how we help get people started along their journey. If you like numbers, we'll find a place for you. If you like construction, there's a place for you. If you like management, there's a place for you. There's a place for all that. And it may not be that, right? It doesn't mean because you like numbers, you have to do underwriting. It could be completely something else on the asset management side for going through financials and maybe finding some things that we can either cut expenses or grow our income. But I promise you, if you're thinking about being a general partner and that's the journey that you want to go, we specialize in helping people find those superpowers.
And it's amazing. You guys may still, you know, say, well, what is my superpower? But I love to say this. You guys have heard me before. If you love to shop or hunt, you might be a deal finder, you know, because you can hunt these deals online and with your brokers. If you're a people person, you may be a capital raiser. You have great relationships. You might be also brokers, you know, that's another great thing is always having a relationship there. If you love numbers, you love data, easy underwriting, right? Because numbers are math in this game. If you are analytical or tech savvy, a lot of these properties need tech. They want to be smart tech, right? Smart homes, smart communities. If your construction background, let's go. We always have something that needs to be fixed or some kind of, you know, like Sean and Sergio, they can go walk a property and go, hey, here I'm starting to see some stuff, right? For us, design, staging, whether it's trained eye or whatnot, you've got some background in that. Improving these properties, any type of trades, landscaping, you know, all of those things. You're just looking. I guarantee you, everyone has 2 to 3 superpowers you can add to the team, and that's the beauty is we're growing those superpowers. I'm learning from these guys all the time, right? I'm like, if that's a soffit, okay, that's a, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm learning from them. They're learning why we like light color instead of dark color. We want the rooms to look larger instead of smaller. You know, we're learning from each other. So I don't think any superpower is necessarily innate unless you're like a people person, maybe, but a lot of it's learned. So we're continuing to stack our knowledge between each other.
Love it, love it. That was a good feedback, Jana. Thank you. We got another question here from Chris. So are you there, Chris? Do you want to ask your question? I think I saw you earlier.
Yeah, he's right there.
Perfect. Otherwise, let me know, Chris. Otherwise, I'll go. And Chris asks, before investing into multifamily unit, should we always look at the units in person? And what are the things I should avoid as a new investor? That's his question. Do you want to head, Jana or Sean?
Gosh, you know, so the question being like, what should I avoid as a new investor, right?
Yes.
Woo. I would say that's a good one. I think avoid not taking action. I did not know this when I got into it, but this, guys, is about a 3-year play. And so just like a snowball, you just start small and then it starts rolling. And Sean still has not shared our good news for today, but we'll save that for the end. But I'm telling you, deal flow comes, then you get into a deal scared. You know, you're scared, but at least we are being comfortable we're comfortable being uncomfortable. We're doing things that scare us. We're taking action. So if you're analysis paralysis, you got to get out of that. I believe that's the biggest mistake, is not doing anything. I think that when you can have some trust, you got to trust someone. So trust a team and let's go. We're going to make calculated risk. We're going to try to, you know, the more eyes on a property, the less issues that we're going to be having if we're all paying attention. So don't delay. Start today and start your snowball, because in 3 years, we're possibly going to refinance or cash out refi. The goal is we own these properties free and clear. All the money's paid back after 2 to 3 refis, or we sell it. Some of these assets, we have a business plan to sell in 3 to 5 years. That's when you're going to get your big chunk back. It might be a drip until then. And I would just say, take action, but let's preface it with the right people.
Laura, do you have something, Sean?
I mean, like, look, I would piggyback exactly on that. I would flip that and say, what should I avoid? I'd be looking to get into deals. Like, how can I get into a deal? You know, just the wording alone, avoid, like, we need to flip that mindset, right? We need to get to a positive mindset. We need to see, look, how many deals can I get in the next year? So, you know, obviously we don't want to go in, you know, reckless, right? So You want to look at, find a good deal, find a good team that you like, find the kind of returns, find the business plan that fits your investment criteria, whether that's a class B or C that's, 3 to 5 years, or is it a class A that's 10 plus years, right? Your money may be in there for 10 plus years, meaning, you won't get the full payout. You'll still probably get a refi situation, but there's a lot of parameters. And for me, it's about the numbers. It's about my investment journey and what I'm looking to do and how quickly I'm looking to do that, or how not quickly I'm looking to do it. But I would flip that and say, what should I, instead of saying what should I avoid looking for, I would be looking to get into deals and how can I grow my money as quickly as possible.
Love it, love it. No, thank you guys for sharing that. So, and before I let Sean go and share the good news, because again, we're growing, we're scaling, and we're not doing this alone. We're doing it as a team, right? So even this call, guys, I mean, probably you feel that it was really short because, we just have a lot of things to share, right? So this is going to be a 2-part call. So don't miss next week, because actually we're going to be sharing about Model Investor Alliance. How is that? Since we came together, we grew up like, we scale like 3 times faster, just by going as a team, right? And again, we're not doing this alone. It's not just Sean, it's not Jana, it's not Sergio, it's not just me, right? So it's also you guys. There is a possibility that, you can come on board with us, because, if we want to scale, we need help, right? So we need help in order to scale, and then this is where I want to share with you guys how is that we are doing it, because probably you are wondering, okay, how is that you are able to have under management, like over 200, 2,000 units, 3,000 units. So how is that you are doing it? So we're gonna be sharing all those, secrets. I'm not sure even to say secrets, but how is that we are doing it, right?
Those gold nuggets. Well, we'll be talking about that next week. So this is a 2-part call once again, and guys, I hope you're excited, because I mean, today's call was to make you understand that we can do this together. You are able to do this. Don't doubt yourself. Stop having the scarcity mindset, thinking that you got to start small. Go big. Jana explained a phenomenal illustration on how you're able to, leverage off of people's experience. If she's got 4 Super Bowls, that means I got 4 Super Bowls because I'm on the team. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're I hate to say it, it sounds horrible, but if you're the water boy on the team, you still got the 4 championships. You know what I'm saying? And it's just facts, guys. Don't let she's like, yeah, the ring. Don't get discouraged, guys. You can do this. You are able to do this. It doesn't matter if you have 0 real estate experience. I'm the proven concept. I had 0 real estate experience. The only experience that I had before this is my dad bought and held 2 single family properties, and guess who did a demolition in them? I did. So it wasn't it wasn't nothing huge. I went straight into multifamily. So I want you guys to understand that this was a phenomenal call. You can do this. This is possible. Don't be discouraged. As long as you can work, very, very hard, bring value to a team, you can be a part of it too. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and before we end the call, Sean, Jan, if y'all want to talk about some of the good news that we have.
Y'all keep referring to this good news. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so we just went under contract. So I was saying earlier that, when you guys are out there looking for investments, we have a different set of investors. We're constantly looking for different assets to make sure that our investors are going into what they want to go into. So with that being said, we did receive 2 contracts today. We are going to execute them tomorrow. One is a Class B asset in San Antonio. Phenomenal returns. Just a little bit of a preview. 1984, 128 doors, like a 10.5% cash on cash. It's sick. It's just a sick location, sick returns. It's a 2.3x. Probably refi in year 2 or 3, exit in year 5. So that gears towards some of the business plan of making a little bit, not fast money, but faster maybe to get recapitalized, and then you stay in the deal after we refi and we recapitalize. You stay in the deal for the life cycle of the project. On the flip side, we have a beautiful Class A 72 units in downtown Fort Worth that is walkable to all the downtown square. That on the other side of the spectrum, kind of, that is a little bit lower cash on cash, but it's a Class A asset. It is a huge, beautiful property that will also double your money. But we'll be in that one for probably at least 10